Amari, Genasi, Marie, and Serenia sat astride the dragon, the first sentient life forms to ever do so in known history, and took in the vast beauty of their homeland. Marie's eyes sparkled with wonder and joy as she moved a hand to the side to grace a cloud that passed them by. This was something these girls would only ever dream of, and here they were. The wind made it impossible to talk, and all 4 girls had to hastily tie their hair down in whatever way they could. But this was the most incredible thing they had ever experienced. The dragon was mildly amused by the happy squealing coming from atop his back, but stayed his course and flew towards the girls' home village. The entire village went into a blind panic at the sight of a fully grown red dragon suddenly appearing and heading straight for them. The guardsmen were quickly mustered to force, the Adventurers Guild brought to bear, and everyone who could hold a sword found themselves standing in a field, bracing their faces from gusts of wind as the dragon's heavy body thumped into the ground. The dragon merely ignored the approaching 1,000-man army and shook from a tickle on his foot from the grains. The guards approached, brandished their weapons, and the dragon simply smiled, as if he had some odd evil plan brewing in his head. The village braced for the fight of their lives. The dragon just gently leaned down, allowing the girls to leave his back onto the ground. "Thank you for flying with Scarlet Scale Airlines. We understand you had a choice when it comes to your travel arrangements, and we thank you for choosing us. Please watch your step and have a nice day," he said with the strangest smirk he ever had. The girls and the crowd tilted their heads, and all collectively thought, "Wait, what?" Atirius shook himself a bit, and all 4 girls slid down his scales onto the grainy dirt. "The heck was that?" Marie asked as she dusted her dress off. Caliban once said that humans had entire networks of machines called airplanes that they used to transport people across distances and cargo as well. He called them commercial airliners. That phrase is one of the things the pilots or controllers of those machines said to passengers. "I found it funny, so I thought I'd do it here," Atirius said with a chuckle. Genasi rolled her eyes and squeaked in fright as she noticed the wall of metal armor and swords aimed at them. She slowly raised her hands in surrender. Everyone just stood there in confusion for now as the others dusted themselves off. Atirius stomped about to clear some space for takeoff. "Now hear this. Times are shifting, the tide has changed. Pay attention to the world. It's about to get a kick in the pants," Atirius bellowed into the air. "As for the 4 of you, get cleaned up. I have a feeling this isn't the last time I'm going to be carrying you around." Atirius chuckled and flew up into the air, leaving the crowd shocked and terrified. The girls all stood there like dummies, unsure of what to do, until eventually the city guard managed to recollect their sanity. After dispersing the crowds and securing the area, the 4 terrified ladies were hauled into the mayor's office. The town mayor sat stoic behind his desk at the sight of the exhausted and clearly disheveled young ladies arrayed in front of him. "Okay, take it from the start for me. Tell me what's going on," the mayor asked. All 4 girls suddenly burst into a scramble of words, each statement more incoherent than the last. The mayor had to bellow loudly, loud enough to shake the town hall in order to get them to calm down. "Okay, let me rephrase that. Tell me one at a time what in the blue hell happened," the mayor said. "Genasi, you first." With the 4 girls calm, they each explained their variation of events up to now. The smog dragon, then the massacre, then the machinery, then the temple, the giant factory, then the dragons, then this, then the human Caliban. "A human? Are you sure? Never heard of a human doing that before," the mayor said. "Well, mostly human. He was an odd human, but definitely human. Mostly," Genasi replied, nervously rubbing the back of her neck. "What the young one dares not to speak is that this man, be whatever he may, was summoned upon this earth from a time far beyond our minds. Forsooth he be half man, half machine. Dare say I, his own body is a reflection of the world he built around him," Marie said frankly, saying what everyone was trying not to think. "What? He's a summoned one?" every soldier and the mayor shouted simultaneously. "Forsooth I dare say it is undeniable. No such creature, place, or circumstance could ever exist outside of such a thing. But for what task exactly I have yet to determine. We are at peacetime, and more so, not just a person was summoned, but his entire house? What, pray tell, are the gods up to?" Marie replied in kind. The guards present then spoke among themselves. Phrases such as, "We're boned," "Oh no," "Welp, I'ma get drunk," and well, shit, were shared, among many others. "Enough," the mayor yelled, snapping everyone back to attention. Okay, I need to inform the king. If a summoned hero has appeared, it means there's trouble somewhere. Send messengers to all signatories. We must take hold of this now before something bad happens, the mayor said. Suddenly a soldier burst in the door. Mayor! Red dragons approaching! 4 of them! They're landing in the grain field. Really? Arterius did say he'd be back for us, but I didn't think he'd be back so fast, Genasi said. Before long, the guard had mustered in defense of the town and readied themselves for a bloodbath. 4 of the red dragons, in all their apparently freshly polished splendor, landed in the field and sat down. One dragon groaned in annoyance at the sight of approaching soldiers and reached behind him to grab an object, a large, dragon-sized can of Pepsi. Do you really have to consume that right now? One of the dragons asked with annoyance. Yes, he replied, and chugged the beverage like there was no tomorrow. The other 3 rolled their eyes at him and waited. The guards and adventurers gathered in defense of their homes and stood to attention. The dragons just sat there doing nothing. Then suddenly a loud, obnoxious, aggressive belch that could be heard for miles erupted from the dragon that just finished chugging his drink. All of the tension and fear suddenly dissipated, and the beast simply tossed the crushed can aside and sat there with a goofy smirk. That's the stuff. Really, Cassius? Way to ruin the mood, Arterius said with an eye roll. When you lot have the ability to not scoff down an entire cauldron of Crocobear gumbo, then and only then can any of you dare lecture me about self-control, Cassius replied with a scowl. The 4 dragons shared accusatory glares as the locals stared bewildered at the circumstance around them. Finally, someone broke the awkward silence. Pardon me, but could someone explain what in the holy name of all that is sacred is going on here? One of the guards barked. Oh right, I forgot about them, Cassius said as he helped himself to yet another can of Pepsi. I'll handle this, Arterius said, stepping forward. The 4 adventurers, Genasi, Marie, Serenia, Amari, come hither. Now, he commanded. Gingerly, the 4 girls were shuffled towards the front and into the dragon's presence, all too hastily by the guardsmen. Arterius regarded them all carefully. You lot listening? He asked, a tone of dead seriousness in his voice. The 4 nodded along with everyone else, albeit involuntarily. Good. I come on behalf of Master Caliban. I'm sure you understand you do not want to displease him. Good. Then follow these instructions. You have 1 hour. Failure to comply will result in this village being incinerated, Arterius said with his dragon teeth showing as he handed the 4 girls a piece of paper. The crowd gasped in terror at the threat. The other 3 dragons sort of looked at him in a shocked manner. Even Cassius, who stopped mid-chug to glare at his companion. The 4 girls swallowed nervously and took the paper. They read it and handed it over to the town mayor, who scrambled to grab it from them to read it himself. He quickly removed himself from the crowd, summoning his guards, who then followed instructions. From inside the village, 1 young woman from each of the races was forced out of wherever they were doing into the presence of the waiting dragon. The village was one of the more diverse, populous ones, so finding one of each within reason was easy enough. Arterius glared at the assembled crowd of 12 young women now displayed in front of him. He kneeled, spreading one of his arms out, and ushered them aboard his back. Genasi, Amari, and Marie helped them all to climb aboard and put on a seatbelt. With one mighty blast of his wings, Arterius flew up into the sky and quickly vanished into the clouds. The other 3 dragons stayed behind and waited for something. The mayor, finally recovering his backbone, stepped forward. What are you lot still doing here? Don't you have something to do? We caved in to your demands, now what do you want? He demanded. Cassius let out yet another soda-fueled belch, tossed the can aside, and stepped forward. Okay, man, calm the hell down. I know Master Caliban. And whatever he's planning to do, you can relax. He's not an asshole. I will grant that's the first time I've heard Arterius be that scary, but you can rest assured he would have never done that. True, this is. Heard him be aggressive, never I have. Something brewing behind the scenes, thinks I, the 3rd dragon said. Fair enough, Marius. But that brings us to what we are here for. Master Caliban spoke to us about something from his world. And Caliban may be insane as far as we are concerned, but he is incredibly persuasive and articulate, at least when he isn't stressed. And what he said made a lot of sense. That is why my companion Marius, Cassius, and myself have come. My name is Katarn, by the way, the 2nd dragon said, with a polite head bow. Oh, well, what did Caliban say exactly? The mayor asked. He spoke at length about logistics, transport, and technology, but mostly he spoke about business. Good business. relaying how in his world an entire industry was built on the backs of those who transported goods and people, Cassius said. But we all have better things to do. More important things. So allow me to make things simpler for us all. The three of us are here to begin a trial run of sorts, of a new business. We dragons will ferry goods, services, and persons across any distance, for a price of course, by air. Fast, safe, and efficient, Cassius said with a grin. The mayor's face perked up. Suddenly the wheels in his head began to turn. Well, that's, unexpected? You will have to forgive me if I seem a bit disturbed. A fool we would think you were you not. Every day an occurrence this is not. Separate from yours for many an age have we been. Good reason indeed. Question you must if continue you wish, Marius replied as he stood up to greet the crowd. Think carefully. A summoned one, not just a summoned one, but his entire damn house has been transported to this world. A man who has the ability to build impossible machines, slaughter a smog dragon without so much as breaking a sweat appears out of nowhere. No warnings, no alerts, no rituals. Suddenly, just here. Even we are not stupid enough to ignore something like this. Something big is about to happen. This is unprecedented. I have seen the inside of that factory. Those machines can slaughter armies 20 times the size of the men assembled here. Am I the only one who thinks that something here is a bit off? Cassius said with a knowing look. All the people assembled suddenly got the look that said, oh shit. Precisely. There's something going on here that's far beyond a simple random person. That's why we are taking orders from a human. Something is coming, good or bad, and it far outweighs anything we can imagine, Katarin said with a smirk. Well, that and we as a species have become hopelessly addicted to Master Caliban's cooking, Cassius said. Smoked bear with cold cuts and salad with that barbecue sauce, followed by durian meat soup with a side of soda or tea. Marius drooled as he recounted his previous evening's meal. Please, Marius! Damn it! Now I can't stop thinking about Croco Bear gumbo with parsley and chives and fresh tea. Damn it! Now I'm hungry! Katarn yelled as his stomach grumbled. Oh, on speaking of eating, Marius said and grabbed the mayor in his talons, staring straight at him. Note of this. Make carefully, please. Fair our prices are for the service we offer. But payment required it is. Eaten, cheapskates will be. Understand? Marius spoke with a serious, sinister tone. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Absolutely, sir. Please don't kill me, sir. The mayor hastily gabbled as he was held in the dragon's hand. Marius put the mayor down, giving the poor man the chance to breathe. Okay, need things to happen. What? The mayor gathered his thoughts for a moment as Cassius began to chug another soda. Wait. Perfect. Messengers! The king must be informed of this insanity. Please wait here for a while. I need to make messages and write missives. I shall inform the Merchants' Guild and the Adventurers' Guild. So much to do, so much. The mayor hastily gathered himself and charged into the town, dismissing his guard and letting the townsfolk figure out what to do. Cassius chugged a Pepsi, Marius drank some tea from a thermos, and Katarn lay quietly in the field with a book as the three beasts calmly waited for something to do. After a while, one of the village's farmers approached and walked up to Cassius, who just finished chugging a Pepsi, his fifth of that day. Hey, you the transport dragons? Or whatever that title is? What is your title anyway? The farmer asked. I suppose we can figure out the rest of that later. But yeah, we do that, Cassius replied. Okay. I got fresh stock I need to transport to market at the capital. Normally I can't take it that far because it'll spoil, and using a mage to freeze it is too pricey. How's about you haul my cargo and I'll give you, say, what's fair? 20% of my sales as payment? Works out to around 5 gold for you at current rates, I reckon. I'll pay you 2 gold coins now as collateral, the farmer said. On this offer shall I take you up? Marius, my name is. To your stock, take me, Marius said as he put his tea thermos away and walked over. Well, hot dium, let's hope you can carry it all. I warn you, it's heavy. Got a full harvest in this year. Here's your upfront payment, the farmer said, tossing a few shiny coins to the dragon. Normally we aren't much for coinage, but Caliban apparently has use for the metals and material. What for, no idea. But hey, work is work, Cassius idly said as he played with a crushed soda can.